So hello everyone again. I am into Xeppo. Most of you know me, so I cannot make my jokes again. But still, I am going to tell you one thing. What most of you have heard about. So I am an economist by trade. Do you know who is an economist? An economist is someone who really loves numbers, but does not have enough personal charisma to become an accountant. So you have to deal with this charisma for the next 30 or 45 minutes. I don't know how long we will be here. I am going to first give you a brief introduction of ChatGPT, about ChatGPT in general, and then we are going to see how to integrate it with R Studio. So get your R Studio ready. But first, I'm going to go step by step from the very basics of ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is what is called a large language model. It is a neural network model that you probably have heard about by now, but it is amazing. And I say that many people are underusing it. It is amazing. It has amazing capabilities. I have been working with neural networks also for some 7-8 years now, and I have been keeping my eye on large language models as well. And what I can say about this is that up until recently, they had a lot of promise, but they did not deliver. ChatGPT version 3 was first. That amazed me. That GPT version 4 is something that completely changed the way I work. Half of my code right now is written by ChatGPT. I use it every single day. And I'm going to show you ChatGPT 3.5, which is free to use. I'm going to show you ChatGPT 4, which costs something. It costs something like $20 a month, 23 euros a month. I'm going to show you how to integrate it into the RStudio. But first of all, if you do not have ChatGPT account yet, then let's create it. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen. I have opened an incognito window because I have already ChatGPT account. But you do not open an incognito window. Open a regular window for yourself, and then open the following address: chat.openai.com. Chat.openai.com. And it asks you to sign up if you have not signed up yet. I guess most of you have signed up already, but you can sign up here and then just select continue with Google if you have Google account. Now I will not log in with my Google account again because I have already logged in and I already have the account. But what it will do next, it will ask your phone number. This is because it wants it doesn't want other bots to create the accounts there. So give it your phone number, you will get the code to your phone, and then you can enter ChatGPT. And now when you enter ChatGPT, you will see the following. Let me open ChatGPT for myself. So again, chat.openai.com, openai.com, and you should see the following picture. It's a little bit different for you as you do not probably have the paid account. I have a paid account, so I can choose the model here as a ChatGPT 3.5 or GPT-4, but you can see the model. But in general, you see this is how you would interact with ChatGPT, the free version of ChatGPT and also the paid version of ChatGPT. So now here you can say something that, okay, I am going to give an overview of ChatGPT and its integration with R. What should I do? And it gives me an overview. What should I cover today? No, I didn't expect that it gives me. Well, give me an overview of the seminar or outline of the seminar. Propose me an outline of the seminar, and it gives me the outline of the seminar. Now it's all about talking back and forth with ChatGPT. So I can, for example, after it has given me this outline where I should give you introduction of myself, background and context, current state of affairs, key issues and debate, blah blah blah. I can say that, well, make it funnier. Make it funnier, and sure it delivers. So warm welcome with a joke or funny story to set the tone. Well, I tried to tell you my joke, but unfortunately most of you have already heard it. Brief overview of seminar's purpose and objectives with a humorous twist. Well, not so good in humor, but brief overview I gave you, and it gives me a long list of things to consider, or what should I tell you today. So what I'm seeing people using ChatGPT for is that they give it some general question and get some general answer, and then they kind of stop that. This is it. That okay, it's a funny thing. It can talk back to you. It can create you a blog post, for example, make it a tweet. Now it's gonna make a tweet out of this for this seminar. But actually, what I want to emphasize to you is that ChatGPT is much more than this. It is much more than something that just generates you some funny text or generates you blog posts or something like this. If you give it enough context, and the keyword here is give it the context, give it as much context as possible, it can go way, way, way deeper, and it was trained with the whole internet, so it has amazingly much information, detailed information about some very specific things. So give it context, give it a try. You will be surprised how deep it can go, especially ChatGPT 4 version 4. But we are using the free version is 3.5. Actually, you can talk to version 4 freely as well. If you go to a site bing.com, Microsoft Bing.com, and select chat from the top left corner. Now you might need to have Microsoft Edge browser for this. I have a special plugin for my Chrome, which tells to Bing that I am actually using Edge, lies to it, and so I can use it from Chrome. But you might need to use Microsoft Edge browser. Still, I am keeping my paid account in ChatGPT because I have seen that this Bing, I have to really torture it to give me right answers. It tries to search everything. It tries to search for stuff, and it tends to give you very short answers. You have to play around with it, tell it many times that, hey, I don't want you to search. I want you to create me this or create me that. But if you are creating some R programs, then and you want to use version 4, then this Bing might be your best option. Now, ChatGPT, it can talk to you. It can talk to you in natural language. But what it also can do, it can talk many programming languages, and it is pretty good in R. So I write R every single day of my life. I work with R. I work in Estonian e-residency, by the way, so I'm a data analyst there, and I work with R every single day. And as I told you, half of my code is by now it is written by ChatGPT. Most of the time when I write reports, I write R by heart. But when I want to do something more complex, I don't know, download emails from Google account, download attachments, then run specific R code by attachment, and this is a real use case what I do, and then send these. It creates some graphs, visualizations, and then I want to upload these visualizations to some Slack channels. Then I make ChatGPT to do it for me. well, I had written this by myself long ago, but now I wanted it to work in headless environment, in a server without access to. So every now and then it still asks me to log into Gmail. I want it not to ask. So it gives me very specific details how to do it in server environment, in headless environment, and it delivers. This is the actual use case where what I have been doing with it. So let's let me think what I should do. You well, one thing to notice if you are new to this, then one thing to know is that ChatGPT, it does something what is called hallucinating. It especially ChatGPT 3.5, the free version. If you ask it some fact question, then it can very convincingly lie to you. It can very convincingly lie to you. You have to double check the answers. But usually it doesn't lie with code. One more thing that I want to show you is that if you are working with let's say Microsoft Excel, or you're working with Google Sheets, then it can help you here as well. I'm going to open some kind of mock data set, which is showing, sorry, the data is in Estonian. So event, conference A, date, and visitor who visited this conference. And let's say I want to, after every visitor, I want to write how many conferences this person has visited. What I can do here, I can copy and paste the data. So you can copy and paste the data to ChatGPT, tell it, I have the following data. Copy the data. I want to add a new column to that table, which says how many events has this person participated in total. Wow, it is already talking to me in R. It's already, well, it's already giving me R code, because I was talking, it remembers the context what I gave it before. So I forgot to tell it that, hey, this data is in Google Sheets. But what I wanted to show you before going to R, and you see it gives me the R code. It gives me the R code that adds this additional column to the data. Let me tell you, I have the data in Google Sheets and would like to do it there. And it tells me, okay, go to cell D2 and add this formula there. So if you do some, I know you don't, of course, you use R for everything like I do, but sometimes you might use also this kind of Google Sheets. So Jaak visited 1, Kaja 2, Madis 2, Kaja 2, Ludmilla 1, Madis 2, Erika 1 event. So it can create you formulas for Google Sheets or for Excel or something like this, and pretty serious formulas. So I have done a use case where I wanted to put now into the next column all the visitors that visited this conference. And this is something that I really wouldn't be able to do myself, just writing the formula, and it delivers. Especially good is ChatGPT 4 in this. ChatGPT 3.5 might need a couple of times couple of retries to do it. Now, but you already saw that it also gave me R code, and it writes R pretty well. Usually, as I said, I have done quite advanced stuff with it, with R, and it writes R code pretty well. Let's try something. Write me an R code which draws a heart in ggplot. Let's see what will it do. And here I would say that after a couple of tries, it usually gives. This is, well, this doesn't seem like a hard. Well, okay. Let me try it. I'm going to try it in my art studio in a second. Give me a second. I need to switch my project. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, then feel free to put it in chat. I haven't looked at chat yet. Now I open the chat so that you can I will try to monitor it. So let's see how well did it do. How well did it do? Library ggplot. Art data ggplot. Well, this does not look like a heart to me. Let's tell it. Hey, this does not look like a heart. Redo it. I am saying it in the ChatGPT window, which you cannot see right now. Let me see if this works. Coming back here, it gave me the following code. No, this does not look like a heart. So you might need to do it a couple of times. Then again, if I would use ChatGPT 4, then it would give me the right answer the first time. I have played with ChatGPT 3.5, and eventually it will draw me a nice looking heart. Now it fails, unfortunately. And this is also the difference between 3.5 and 4. 4 is way more able in many things. But now let me now show you some. So actually, most of the time when I'm using ChatGPT, I'm using it like this. I'm going to ChatGPT web interface and I tell it to write me some code. But actually, you can integrate RStudio with ChatGPT directly. And to do this, I'm going to show you how to do this. To do this, okay, there is a question, what is the precise difference between 3.5 and 4? 4 is better. 4 is just better. 3.5 is already pretty good. 4 is quite a qualitative improvement about it. It hallucinates less, it lies to you less, it writes better code, it understands you better. For example, in 3.5, my native language is Estonian. Estonian is a pretty tiny language. There are 1 million people who are talking it. 3.5 can somewhat understand Estonian, but I always use English to talk to 3.5, and I recommend you to use English to talk to it because it gets you way better results. But version 4 already understands Estonian near perfectly. It writes Estonian text very well. So it is quite probable that version 4 writes, understands, and you can talk to it in your native language as well. This is the difference between 3.5 and 4. One more thing, if you are not familiar with ChatGPT, then it is trained with data which is up to September 2021. It doesn't know anything after September 2021. And this goes both for ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4. They are trained with exactly the same data. ChatGPT 4 is just it is a larger model. It is a better model, so it can do better stuff. It does the same stuff better. But I am not telling you to, I don't know, pay ChatGPT immediately. I know 20 euros for many of you, it's quite a lot of money. Try using Bing Chat first. No, ChatGPT 4 is definitely trained until it's with the same data as ChatGPT 3.5. It is the same data, and I think it is September 21, as much as I remember. I don't think I'm wrong. I'd have to check. Now the Bing search also searches the internet and tries to find some stuff from the current internet if you let it write something. What I have used it, more use cases, what I've used it, for example, to scrape data from some web pages. And it writes you the code to scrape the data from the web pages. It knows all the R libraries. It knows libraries that I haven't heard about, and it writes the code using these libraries in many cases. Now, I'm going to share my browser to you again, and I'm going to show you how to integrate ChatGPT with R directly. So for this, go to platform.openai.com, platform.openai.com. And now you have to register yourself again. You have to register yourself again. You need to understand that ChatGPT and this platform.openai.com, they are different products. You need to register yourself again. Click it through, register yourself there. Here the case with this platform OpenAI.com is that here you can define how to use the APIs. You can connect your RStudio to some APIs in here, and you can play around with GPT models. You see, there is, when you have done it, then there is a playground, and here in this playground you can use a lot of different parameters, way more than in ChatGPT. Now there is one thing: it is not free, but it gives you, the moment you register, it gives you $5 of free usage of it. And I have used it quite a lot, but I have managed to use something like 10 cents out of it, this $5, or maybe 15 cents by now. So don't worry about this too much. Play around. You can see what it does, and if it makes sense to you to maybe later pay for these tokens. Okay, one more thing I forgot about ChatGPT, about general ChatGPT. So the version 3.5 of ChatGPT, this is able to take up to, I think, 2,000 words as context. 2,000 words, what it remembers. And when you go over this, all this one chat is one context. When you go over this, then it starts to forget your context. ChatGPT-4 is able to take up to 30 pages of text as context, or 40 pages of text as context. So the context you can give it is 10 times more than ChatGPT 3.5. You describe the context, you describe it as specifically as possible, and then you ask the question, and it will deliver you way, way better than without the context. Back to the playground. Now, if you are in this playground, then go to not API reference. Let's see where you have to go now. In this playground, I want you to go to still API reference. No, not API reference. Overview.
Oh, icon. Your account.
Account, okay, and view API keys. Yes, click on your account. Here it says personal for you. Click here and then view API keys, API keys. And here, create the new secret key. Click on this, create the new secret key, and it will create it for you. And copy it to your copy it. Click on this and it copies it. I'm going to delete this key myself. Now, when you go to, by the way, everything here in the playground, when you play around with this playground, where you can select these models and you can select temperature. Temperature means how creative it is, but the more creative it gets, the more it tends to lie to you. Maximum length, you can select very many things here. I'm not going to go over with all these things today with you. But when you go back to your RStudio now, and let me share my RStudio, then what I want you to do now is create a system variable called let me create a new R script. And what you need to do is now is create the system variable. I have it here somewhere. So like this. So sys set environment OpenAI API keys and paste this key that you created. Paste it here. And Control Enter. After this, let's install. There are actually a number of R libraries. There are a number of R libraries that can talk to ChatGPT, but we are going to look one. Let's install packages ChatGPT. Install packages ChatGPT and let's load it. I'm giving some time for you to install it and let's load it. Okay, sorry, there was a question about where I went in Kach, did you get your answer or not? I am going to share my screen again. So you go to this top right corner, and here it says manage the view API keys. And here you create a new secret key. Wow, I don't have one. I have to create one myself. Did I really delete all my secret keys? Well, I'm creating one myself. What is going on now? Did it work for you?
It's taken a little while. Yeah.
Okay. Now I got it, and I am going to. Oh, now it shows me that my other secret key is still available. Wow. Well, I don't know. So, and I run myself I ran it myself. I set this key. Now I set it. I wrote it here so you can see it, but you should not share your keys, of course. I will revoke this key after the lecture. And now when you load the library ChatGPT after you have installed it, you have to set this OpenAI API key first. Then look at this add-ins link here, not link, but button here. And you see it has the following thing: ask ChatGPT, comment selected code, complete selected code, create unit test, create variable, blah, 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 optimize selected code, find issues, refactor selected code. So now what you can do, you can write some code. Let's take this, I don't know, this hard code, what I created first. You can select this code, and I can say, for example, from this add-ins that let's say comment selected code. And it shows you here in the console. It takes a little time. I hope. Why doesn't? And then in the console it gives me, actually you can change it so that it automatically
A little bit fast. I couldn't write the first code. Sys.set environment.
Sys set environment, so set env OpenAI API key is equal to, and copy paste your API key. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm running too fast. Just let me know. I tend to sometimes get so excited that I am running too fast.
Mr. Sefo, if you paste your code in the chat, it will be easy for us to paste it, so we will save the time.
I can. Well, I can copy this code to the chat. Where is the chat again? The chat went away. So, and then you can have just some random. I had some random code here, like this, and I selected this code in RStudio, then selected add-ins and document or comment selected code, and what it gives me in the console now is the answer from ChatGPT. It gives the answer from ChatGPT with commented code. So I can replace this code with the answer from ChatGPT, and you see it has a lot of comments there. It can also find your mistakes in your code. So when you paste your code in, then it can find mistakes in your code. Of course, one of the problems with this is that as I said, it is cut off from September 2021, so it doesn't know libraries which came out after this, or it doesn't know the functions which changed after this. But usually you can tell it that, hey, I cannot use this function. Give me a different way to write this code. Now, you can also use these add-ins. You can select Ask ChatGPT, and now you will have this question and answer form here. So you can ask whatever you want here. I don't know, what should I ask it to? So this is a regular ChatGPT question and answer form, which you can also use on the web. But now it's inside your RStudio. So give me a code that draws a heart in R. Ask. And now it should show it to me in the answer form shortly. No, it gives me, oh dear. What the hell does it give it to me? Something went pretty wrong right now. My RStudio went crazy. This hasn't happened before, and I have used it actually. I have used it quite a number of times. You might need, by the way, if you're on Windows, then for this ChatGPT, this to appear, you might need to restart your R. Now, after you have restarted R, you have to set this environment variable again and load the package. You don't have to install the package again, but you will need to load this package again. Now, let me try again this. If this is a problem that will persist, give me an R code which draws a heart. Ask. Now, to remind you, every single question that you ask here is actually costing you some money. It is costing a fraction of a cent. It is costing quite a little money, but it is costing something. But you have $5 for free, and you can play around with this. Now it gave me this code here. Gave me this code. Let's see if this code works. Going to move the previous code. Okay, now it did it in base R. Have to say done first. Well, this is not the heart. This is not the heart, but okay. So sometimes you have to ask ask multiple times for it to work. There are other, as I said, there are other libraries than ChatGPT. So what I have tested are libraries called Ask GPT, then GPT Studio, and stuff like this. But I like this ChatGPT for some reason the most. I don't know. I have used this. I have used this the most. It has the most of options here. On the other hand, as I said, I don't actually use it so much. This integration, you can integrate it, but I am mostly using the browser version, where I am asking the questions and or letting it to create some code and then just copy and paste it into my session in R. One of the things is also that by default, this is using ChatGPT 3.5. You have to put yourself into waiting list to use ChatGPT 4. But in Bing AI, Bing, for example, this Bing chat, you can use ChatGPT 4 immediately. And if you tell it to write your R code, then Bing chat will happily write your R code. Give it the context, give it what you have, what kind of data you have, describe your data, copy paste some of the data to there or some of the mock data. Do not copy paste some this personal data into ChatGPT or this kind of data that is valuable data. Make a mock data for this if you want to use it, and then let it write the code that gives you the answers. Okay, so this was very brief intro to ChatGPT and its integration into R. You can use if you go to the where to find API. Volka, did you get your answer where to find the API?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, good. So if you go to the ChatGPT, this platform.openai.com site, then you will also see that, well, let's see my usage, by the way. This is my usage. You see, I have used maybe 4 cents per day of this code usage. I have used 8 cents in total out of $5 grants that I got. By the way,
granted me $18.
what?
It granted me $18.
It granted you $18 again. What
Yeah.
the hell? It now grants $18. Previously, it granted $18, and then they switched it to $5. And when I did it, they gave me $5. And now I hear that you got $18 again. But what you can see here is API reference. So if you want to talk to ChatGPT automatically with OpenAI stuff from R or from Python, then it gives you the API references using Python, but you can use it in R as well. In R, there is a package called OpenAI that provides this kind of access to this API. And you can see what kind of stuff you can do. For example, you can create image. So if I load the OpenAI library, which you do not have right now, but which I happen to have. I load the library OpenAI. You can install it if you, maybe the ChatGPT actually installed it automatically. And then what was it? What did I want to do? For example, there is create image function. Create image, I don't know, and R programmer being really happy. I say that my image is OpenAI create image. Now this uses your this API money as well. And it did it. So in my image, there is now inside this my image, there is data. This is URL. And if you open this URL, then you will see that it gives you this URL. Well, it's not the best picture I have seen in my life. It's not the best picture I have seen in my life, but the picture is this now that it created. So this is using DALL-E, this OpenAI DALL-E model, and it can create quite awkish images. It is not on the level of it's not nowhere close to the level of what is the best image creation tool? Can someone remind me?
Mid-Journey.
What?
Mid-Journey.
Mid-Journey, yes, it's not nowhere in the level of Mid-Journey, but it is quite okay. Well, it creates something, so you can create images from your R code if you want. Elisabetta, you asked that it integrated translate and give full access to your data. It actually doesn't get when this library doesn't get full access to your data. It's actually a good question. Yes, if there would be someone, if this ChatGPT creator would be in, I don't know, in a really bad mood, or if you install some libraries in R, then you in a sense give access to this library to your data. But well, you can, luckily our code is open source, so you can go through this ChatGPT library and see that it doesn't send out anything bad. But yes, I know some of my friends who do not send. It depends again when your code is something, I don't know, very secret code that you are working, then do not send it to the Ask GPT, because when I ask it to create some variable name or unit test or complete selected code or something like this, then it sends the data to OpenAI server. Not data, sorry. It sends the code to OpenAI server. And some code, you might have some codes that you do not want to send to anywhere. So that's about it from me. How to integrate ChatGPT with R. I am using it a lot myself. It finds mistakes in your code. It corrects mistakes in your code. You just paste your code into the ChatGPT window and you ask, okay, find me a problem. When R gives you an error message, then give the error message to ChatGPT window and it explains why this error message came. It can explain your code. You can copy paste your code or some code into the ChatGPT window and ask it to explain you something. And it explains you the code, what the code does. It can translate code. You can translate your R code to Python or your Python code to R. So it is very good in this. And ChatGPT 3.5 is pretty good already. I would say that 4 is way better, but 3.5 is pretty good already to be actually usable in work. Now, I will take some questions from you. Do you have any questions for me, or any comments or any use cases that where you have used it yourself? Happy to listen. So we have used our 45 minutes, but I will be here for another 15 minutes. So happy to discuss stuff with you.
Hello, Indra.
Hello.
Yeah. So my question is it ethical to use ChatGPT API plugin with R for something like an interview, for like a coding interview? Because I'm still trying to get around the ethical and moral ground for this. I want to know if it's ethical and accepted in the workplace.
Well, it's a funny question, In one sense, is it ethical to use the ChatGPT in a coding interview? I think you asked. So I will change the way I teach art. I teach art at university. I will change the way, and I will teach people to use ChatGPT. Definitely, I will give them the basics. So I will make them so good that they can get something out from ChatGPT next year. But it will be totally different course than what I have given last 5 years. There are now you can see job postings coming out which require you to know ChatGPT. They require it. So I don't know. I think it's ethical if they want to see that if you can do it with ChatGPT is something that you will use at this workplace. If they haven't specified that you have to do it without ChatGPT, why not? You can accomplish this. No one in your workplace asks you when you accomplish something that, hey, did you do it yourself or did you do it with ChatGPT? It's the only thing that is important is that you get it done. So we are living in a new world now. We are living in the world of ChatGPT, and this is just the beginning. By the way, just telling you, so ChatGPT 4 was actually available in the summer already, but they were safety testing it for half of a year, all this time since the summer. They were safety testing it. They wanted to know if ChatGPT will take over the world. So they gave it money and they gave it access to servers, or actually to access so that it could buy server room for it. And they wanted to see if it starts to replicate itself and buy this server room and starts doing something shady. Well, it did not. But what it did something shady indeed. They asked ChatGPT to go through a CAPTCHA. You know, these CAPTCHAs, I am not a robot type of CAPTCHAs. And what ChatGPT did, it went to TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit is an online site where you can let some people do something for you. And ChatGPT asked for one person that, hey, can you complete this CAPTCHA for me? And the person asked jokingly, why, are you a robot? And ChatGPT lied to him, saying, no, I am just vision impaired. I cannot see very well. This is why I need you to do it. And the person did it, so ChatGPT could go through CAPTCHA, ChatGPT 4. It is at this level. It can lie to you knowingly when it wants to achieve something. So it is a really a revolution. It has changed the way I work. It is something that is really qualitatively new right now. What we are witnessing. I don't want to know what the ChatGPT 5 will be. They will finish training of ChatGPT 5 in December. Then probably half of a year again they will do the testing. So not this summer, but the summer after this we will have ChatGPT 5.
Okay, I have a small question. Like, we write text in our thesis and in our articles, academic articles. So if we ask ChatGPT to rewrite it, then will it be detected as plagiarism?
It can be theoretically detected. There are detectors which detect ChatGPT, but I would say, but there are also other services online which change the text so that the detectors will not detect it. Now, these detectors give a lot of false positives, I have heard. A friend of mine let his scientific work through ChatGPT detector, and ChatGPT detector said that some of it is written by ChatGPT. It was not, definitely not. It was written by him. So it gives you false positives and something like this. Now, I think for people like me, for whom English is not a native language, it is an amazing thing because it rewrites my text in English. It's correct English. You can write your text and tell it that rewrite this in academic English. And for myself, I consider this to be fair use. If I write my text and ask it to rewrite it in correct English, then I don't see any ethical problems with this. But this might be my opinion. You have to talk to your lecturers, your professors, if this is acceptable by them. For me, for my student, it would be absolutely acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
why, for example, my co-worker, she's using ChatGPT because she said that people say to her that her emails are a little bit too straightforward, a little bit too frank. And now she's using ChatGPT. She's giving the email to ChatGPT and says that write it to be a little bit more friendly. And ChatGPT delivers it, writes it to be a little bit more friendly. Or you can use ChatGPT, for example, you can tell it that, hey, write me an email to my boss explaining why I need second monitor. And it will. It will, I have tried. Then you say, okay, add some data to it, and it will be database, evidence-based, that's why you need a second monitor. It is so.
The tricky thing is why it is lying then.
Why is it lying?
Yes.
It's stupid. It's a little bit stupid. Yeah, it wants to really to help you, but it is not especially ChatGPT 3.5, the free version. It hallucinates a lot. This is kind of a property of this kind of network. So it is not designed so well that it can understand itself when it is hallucinating and when it is not hallucinating. But you can, this is called prompt engineering. You can, by writing your prompt, you can actually make him hallucinate less. You can say to it that only give me an answer if you know it. And it gives you only the answer if it knows it, or then it does not give you some of the wrong answers. But it still can a little bit hallucinate. What it is terribly bad, this free version, is doing mathematics. 4 is way better doing mathematics than 3.5. But 4 also, I have seen it make simple mathematical mistakes. So it can make mistakes. It's way better than 3.5, but it still can make a mistake every now and then. It is the architecture of these models. It is not yet perfect. There is a way it has room to develop, but it is good enough right now to first to make it usable, and second to actually freak the hell out of you if you start using it. It can solve business problems for you. It can do these kind of things. A friend of mine was using it to. A friend of mine, they are doing some specific equipment for border guards, border sensors, and they tried it to ask it, okay, what kind of materials should I use here, and it delivered amazingly.
Mr. Peko, will be there possibility for the ChatGPT to write results? For example, if you take results of quantile regression or other models in statistics and econometrics and give it to explain these results, will be capable?
I would be pretty confident that ChatGPT-4 can explain these results, and I haven't tried it yet. So I need to try it. I have been using it. I have not been using it for very long either, but I am pretty confident that it can. For most of the methods, it can explain them, and it can. For example, you can ask it to explain some method to you, and it is pretty good in this. It explains you the method, and this is what I have tried.
Okay.
It will change a lot in academic work.
Mr. Sefo, by your point of view, the people who are writing research articles and want to develop their career or publishing the articles, what will be the future of this kind of people in their career with ChatGPT? Will ChatGPT replace their position? And I'm talking about high reputed journals, like not law level journals.
I don't have the answer for these questions, unfortunately. I know that in a sense, there was a great quote I saw today, which I am trying to put it into words myself, but somebody else had put it. It is the AI is not gonna take your job, but the person who knows how to use AI is gonna take your job if you are not getting to know AI yourself. So in a sense, it will do many things that we do now. So I introduced ChatGPT to one of my co-workers. She's a business analyst in AE residency. And she used it for half a day and then came to me and said that, oh dear, this is doing my job amazingly. That this is really doing what I'm doing here. It's gonna take my job. Then she contemplated on this for another hour and came to me, no, it's not gonna take my job yet, because I am the only one who can ask the correct questions from him, from it, or from him. I don't know how to call her or him or it. Probably we should call it right now, ChatGPT. So you are the only one who can, you have to be at some level to get to use it, to ask the right questions from. And then she came after another half an hour and said that, okay, you see, this was a question that we asked from one of our outside contractors, and now she asked it from ChatGPT and said that it delivered pretty well. It delivered good enough that we might not need this outside contractor anymore. So it is gonna change the world. It is already changing the world, but and I don't know how. I don't know how good you have to be. Maybe I'm too good in my field. Maybe somebody who is way less experience, has way less experience, can now do my job with ChatGPT well enough. Maybe it is beneficial that I'm so good in my field. Maybe I can do even better my job with ChatGPT, but maybe not. I don't know. No one has a birth given right to be safe from this kind of revolution, and revolution it is. Yes, so we have used I have used an hour of your time. So if you want to leave, then leave. But if you have something to discuss yet, then I am free for you, and I am here to discuss it. Maybe I will stop recording now, but I will be here and waiting for your questions. One more thing. So there are funny things about copyright. So theoretically, copyright can only be given to things that the person creates. But now ChatGPT kind of creates it. So whose copyright is it? And this is a topic where there is no correct answer. So in a sense, it creates it because you gave it input. And it depends now how much input did you give it. Did you just say, hey, write me something, or did you write the text and said overwrite it, write it in academic English? Then the copyright should definitely be yours. It is just editing you. But there are a lot of these kind of questions that are here. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording now. But what?
Yes, sir, you can stop the recording. Sir, from the citation and credit authorship, I think Bing Chat is better than ChatGPT.
Yes.
And
yes,
it gives more references to you. But I want to share to you from academia perspective, all people know the top writers in the theories. So if you write something by ChatGPT and you do not cite the original sources, everyone can detect you that this person has not written anything in this area. Suppose I'm good in suppose one model, econometric model, and I know the supported theory and the background theory for this method. Now even I know the papers and the years that if you put an essay to me about this topic and I read it, I can easily tell you that this person has not read the original sources and they has just collected some information from ChatGPT and can tell you that from an academia, you can easily detect this kind of things because ChatGPT is not in a position to give the sequence to the theoretical background, to give the sequence to the empirical evidences. So this kind of things are required research skill. Yeah, if you are a good researcher, you can use ChatGPT in a very good manner. Like you mentioned, your friend is using in her job. But if you don't know research and just writing things by ChatGPT, it will not help you anything.
Well, there are a lot of questions that you propose. My problem is actually that my speakers here are terrible. They are making a lot of metallic noise. So I lost some of what you said, but you raised good things. I'm going to stop the recording now, but I'm going to stay here.